Hey, what's up, y'all? You are listening to your Mental Matters podcast. I'm your girl Mo, and we're back with another episode. It's been a little minute. A lot of different things have been going on my end, and so I haven't put an episode out in a couple of months. So I hope you guys missed me. I missed you guys, and yeah, like we're back with another episode, and this is like highly anticipated. This is gonna be, just another great one, but probably like one of the best ones. I mean, this was one of my favorite. This person who is here with us, for those of you guys listening or watching, we recorded an episode like last year. Was it?
I think so, yeah.
Last year, and that one was one of my favorites. And now we back again, but in studio this time because this was in the thick of COVID when we did the last episode. So we were virtual, but now we're in person, and we're gonna welcome Lish. We need a hand clap. We need all of that. We're working. We're gonna get all of that in there.
What's up, y'all? I'm so glad to be here, Mo. Glad to be back on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just get some time to talk with you and all your listeners, your loyal crew.
Yeah.
You're doing great work here. I always tell you that in private.
Thank you. You do.
You know, you're doing great work, and I'm super proud of you. And just to see all that you've done.
Thank
in
you.
this last 2 years you've been doing the podcast?
It's been
2.5 years?
It's been 2 years since because I did basically a whole revamp because I was podcasting before, but just on a different scale. I was still trying to get my feet, planted. But since the whole revamp of Your Mental Matters, definitely, it's been like a solid 2 years.
Yes.
Yep.
So congratulations. And you graduated since the last time I saw you. Period.
Thank you.
Masters mommy did that.
Masters. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's what I was talking about, guys. Like I graduated, so I kind of took a little break because I was in.
Where you graduated from?
I graduated from New York University.
Period. NYU.
Period. The illustrious NYU.
She said, "Don't play with her. Don't play with her."
Talk to me nice. Price going up. Yesterday's price is not what? Today's, okay?
Period.
Yeah, I'm like, I appreciate you for being here. Yeah. I'm excited just to be here, for us to just get into just discussion today. Like, I feel like I don't know. It's weird because it's like, I feel like we recorded and now I'm like trying to get super formal, but I really I just really want to talk to you.
We're really friends, guys. Like, right? We've known each other a long time.
Right. And like, before, we started getting into it, we were just, catching up on life. But I hope like this episode, the audience, the listeners can get a feel of just like, just real like friendship, and like we go back and like just catching up on like all of the great things that you have going on, because Lish got some great things going on just in life, period.
God is good.
Yeah, in your music career, just being an influencer overall and being able to like reach the people and touch the people. You're doing it though. You're doing it. For those of you, I mean, all of Lish's info will be there, but y'all need to tap in and just follow, because I feel like Lish is super inspiring. Like, without even having to try, I feel like you've been that though, from early on. And now it's just even more, so.
I've known you since you were what?
Like.
8th grade or 9th grade or something like that? I was about to say
like 14. Like, I was mad young. Yes. Like, what? Right. And so. Yes.
I mean, even though we like the same age, for real.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely in the period. Yeah, we are. Okay. We're not. I'm like, yeah, we are.
But thank you for going along with that. I appreciate you.
Of course. I mean, you don't look like you look young and youthful, because you are. You. Yeah, you are. And yeah, so we're going to get into the topic today. We're just talking, overall, I feel like we're just talking about like, I'll title it inspiration. Okay. Or just what it means to inspire others. Because
let's see where the episode takes us. Then you might choose a whole different title.
Right. Exactly. it might be switched around, come, after, once it comes time to put it out. But yeah, before we get into just some of the questions that I have for you today, first, I want to start off with just the check-in, the mental health check-in. That's always, we start off with that. So how's your mental health currently? How are you doing? How's life? How you feeling?
My mental health right now is really good. And I'm grateful because life ebbs and flows, right? Mm-hmm. But right now I'm really good. I just came back from vacation. So that's always nice.
Yes.
I got to go to Jamaica and just relax for a little bit. Right before that, I've been going through some really stressful stuff.
Yeah.
So I needed to just take a pause for the cause, which I very much did. So I feel good. I think moment to moment, right? You struggle with anxiety about certain things, and I'm always surrendering.
Yeah.
You know, surrender is not a one-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you have to consistently do.
Yeah.
And so when things come to my mind that have the potential to bring me anxiety, have the potential to make me scared, sad, whatever, I really do stop and pray and surrender them.
Yeah.
So that really helps my mental health stay in a good place because child, life be lifing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, right now I cannot complain. What about you?
I love that. And I think I'm in a good space right now. Like I can't even lie. Like I feel like probably the past I'm gonna say 3 months because that was like the final stretch of like school.
Yeah.
I felt like there was just a whole lot of weight on my shoulders, like just in all areas, like academically, like I just wanted to finish strong. I wanted to make sure, I passed my classes with like A's. Like, I wanted to like, be
Yeah.
excellent in all areas. So like, I feel
Come
like,
on, black girl magic.
listen, it's so hard though. Like I was like, constantly having to remind myself why I'm doing it, because I was just so mentally exhausted. And so, once I graduated, it felt like just like a burden came off of my shoulders, and then I started to be able the other areas of life that I felt like weren't doing that great, which was my social life. Like emotionally, I feel like I was going through ebbs and flows, like ups and downs. 1 minute I was like, I think I'm good. Next minute I was crying, and I'm like, what am I crying for? Like I
Now,
just
some of that is hormonal.
it is. It is completely. And so, yeah. And so, like, yeah. And just like the people in my life, like questioning, like, I feel like I went through that a lot, questioning, like, who are the people that are really there for me type of thing. But then I feel like it was weird. Like, once I finished school, I was like, oh my gosh, life is good. So I was like, maybe it was just the stress of school and wanting to be that had me, like, these other areas feeling like they weren't where they needed to be.
Yeah.
But once it was done, and then also it's summer too, like we getting more sunlight, we
Yes.
outside more.
Be outside.
I just started to feel like life is fine. Like you're doing like I had to kind of like reshape my perspective and like more so focus on the gratitude part as opposed to like what the things that like because it's like really like I had to question like ask myself like what is it that I feel like isn't going right that needs to be fixed. And then like I recently started looking into like getting a new therapist because now like that I'm gonna be working with clients, like I'm about to get a caseload, they always recommend that like have that because you about to just be like taking on a whole lot of
people's stuff,
traumas, whatever it is. So I was like, okay. So I started looking into getting a new therapist, and then that's an opportunity too for me to just talk about life and like the things that we just kind of made it out of, or we're still in it. The 2 to 3 year pandemic. So like even just the remnants of like some of the craziness that I went through during the pandemic, just on a personal level.
Yeah.
I need to still unpack because it's like you had to just keep it pushing.
Same.
Yeah. So
Same.
Yep. And so that's where I'm at now. I feel like I'm in a better space, but I'm still kind of just, working on being like excellent, like overall, like emotionally fine. But yeah, I feel happy. I feel
Good.
happy. I can't complain. Like, every day that I wake up, I'm like, you're awake. Like, just go after do your purpose. Like that's really what makes me feel good and what keeps me like going is like the podcast.
Yeah.
I've graduated. Now I'm on the track to like just being exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
And so how can I be upset about that?
Right.
Like upset about any, like that's where it's like I be trying to just be like, there's so many other, like, like.
Leaning into gratitude.
Yes.
Because, absolutely. I think it's funny that you're talking about like doing your purpose because I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wake up, I'm very blessed to be in the career that I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I lead a youth ministry.
I do know this.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I found out through social
started
media.
doing that in December.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've always been called to do ministry. It just wasn't all I was called to do.
Yeah.
And that wasn't always accepted everywhere.
Right.
But God has put me in a place that not only loves the fact that I do music and social media influence and all of that, but celebrates it and wants the kids to see that and uses it. Like I'm in church a couple of weeks ago and like for the closing song, they played my video, like surprised me and played my video. I was like, what's happening right now? You know, like, and so
Right.
really be in a place where like
Yeah.
my worlds can collide and God can use everything I'm doing and
Yeah.
not just a cookie cutter version of me.
Exactly.
Which I always knew he was going to do. I didn't know when or how. But I know, you know about my relationship with God.
Of course.
So I knew he was going to make it happen. I
Yeah.
didn't know how or when or where.
Yeah.
Right? But to wake up every morning, which is an affirmation that I did before I got this job. So I was working in finance. I hated it. You know me.
Yes. Last episode we definitely talked
Don't
about
nobody want to be about
Yeah.
no, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I prayed and I was like, God,
Yeah.
I need to wake up every day and walk in my purpose.
Yeah.
And he literally gave me that. So it really does help your mental health. And I actually made a post about this. It really does help you when you allow yourself to do the things that help you function at your best.
Yeah.
When we consistently stay in places, relationships, whatever it may be, that are not conducive to us being at our best, it's like it does sometimes damage that's hard to repair.
Yeah.
You know, if you stay there for too long.
Yeah.
So that walking in your purpose will really do it for your mental health. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could definitely
Yeah.
attest to that for sure. And yeah, well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could get into let's get into the topic. Yeah, let's get into the questions for today. So yeah, I want to start off with the first question for you is what inspired you to start making the posts that you do on social media? Because like I mentioned, you know, in the beginning of the episode, Lish has kind of I feel like Lish is in this space now, at least from my viewpoint, where you're an influencer almost. People can look at your social media.
That's funny.
Yeah, or you're just, I mean, you're inspiring, but then, I mean, if you inspire people, you also can influence them.
Yeah.
I feel like, and so like in that realm, your posts are very like inspirational.
Yeah.
They can uplift. They can maybe change people's minds and perspectives about things. They can.
That's the hope,
They
right?
can challenge people for sure because you talk truth, and sometimes truth, you know, can be hard for people to hear.
Yeah.
But I think you are definitely in that space of influencer. And so, yeah, what inspired you to start making those posts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you because it's funny. Someone called me a micro influencer a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "What is a micro influencer?"
Right.
And it's like somebody who has a small following, but like, you know, does like bigger numbers than their
Yeah.
following and all that, whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
It's encouraging, right? It's encouraging to put out a video and have thousands of people,
Yeah.
you know, share it and like it and watch it and comment and all that. I think for me, what got me started, a couple of things. One, I had a friend of mine. I was at a Bible discussion group right before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
A friend of mine named Trey. Shout out to Trey. Just reached 1 million followers on TikTok.
Wow.
He had like just started his TikTok, right? So I had made some comment at this Bible discussion.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he came up to me. He was like, "Yo, you need to start talking on the internet. Like, you need to start making videos.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing." Like, he was like, he told me to do TikTok, and I should have listened to him because maybe I'd be closer to him right
Yeah.
now. But he was like, "Yo, you need to start making videos." Of course, I dragged my feet through the whole pandemic, you know, because, you know, I'm from a generation, but like I was grown before social media came out. Not grown. I was graduated high school.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like Skonex. I'm gonna tell my age.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
So before, like when I got on Facebook, you had to have a college email to get on Facebook. It wasn't like I didn't grow up with a phone in my face.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so, a lot of times when I'm sharing things, when I'm saying things, I'm just talking. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think let me make a video and say this so that other people can be inspired by it.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Yo, you need to do it. Like, you need to do it." Then other people in my life was like, "Yo, you need to make videos. You need to make videos." So I made a video or two, and this is when like IGTV. This is before Reels or any of that. And I just was talking. It was during the pandemic, and I
Yeah.
think the pandemic, the beautiful thing that it did was it unleashed us as creatives, even people who didn't think they were creative, just had space to create.
Yeah.
So I started going live with people and all of that stuff. And I really got to see like, wow, I just am able to relate to people on a really human level. And then the things that I think and feel, I'm not alone. A lot of people
Yeah.
can relate to them. So
Yep.
that's what made me really start trying to be more consistent. I'm not always as consistent as I should be. And there's a reason for that too. But I think, you know, I just found that it's what I felt like God kept pushing me to do.
Yeah.
Even more than like some of the other things I felt like I was more gifted at, like music or, you know. I felt like it was just an extension of my ministry, you know. And I also feel like if God puts something on your heart to do over and over and over again, you can't escape it.
Right.
Like, there's so many times I'm like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound, you know. And it just, God just keeps pushing me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me make these videos.
Yeah.
And it's been cool to get so many DMs from strangers, people I went to high school with. Like, it's crazy. People just be like, yeah, I really needed this. Thank you so much. This is what I'm going. People be telling me all their business. Like, girl, this is what I'm going through. And I'm just like, I'm going to pray for you, you know. So it's cool. I also think it's easy for me because, like you said earlier, this is really who I am. Like,
Yes. It's not a.
you know,
It's not a given. not
I just be, I think very deeply. You know, my mind is always going. If I see something, it'll probably sparks some other thought. So it's very easy for me to just share
Right.
when something comes to me. So I try to do that.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, I think, Lish, you're just real. Like, I feel like
try to
people,
be.
I feel like people can resonate because people know when it's not,
Yes.
when
they
it's
do.
not that. So I think when it's the real thing, when it's authentic, it's felt, even through virtual, even
Yeah.
through, like, it can be felt. And so when you started posting, I was like, oh yeah, it was bound to happen already. Like, it was nothing.
Listen,
It was
I had to fight. I still have to fight because, you know, I seen this quote one time, and I think it's so true. Somebody said, Reels and TikToks are for people who don't know you. Because people who know you look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, and that's how I feel. I feel like people gonna be looking at me like, here she go with these videos again. Like, girl, shut up. Like, you
Yeah.
know. But then I realized even some people might feel like that.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be way more people who don't feel like that.
Right.
There's gonna be way more people who don't know me from a hole in the wall and just
Exactly.
can objectively take my advice, other than people who know me and be like, girl, now please. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but the cool thing about it though that I love is that I get a lot of love from people who really know me. A lot.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people who repost. Those are the people who share. Those are the people who comment or DM me. And so it's nice when people who really know you
Yeah.
rock with what you're doing. And
Right.
it just shows that they really feel it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun for me. You know, I try not to. At first, I was like, I gotta get my makeup, doing all that. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting more and more like, y'all seeing my natural puff. Like, I'm like,
Period.
she's not
I
putting
love-
on a wig every
when I
time she
tell
puts a video.
you,
she's not doing that.
The natural, I'd be like, that's what it is. Period.
Listen, we gonna sit in my living room and we gonna do this puff, and
Yes.
y'all gonna get this,
Exactly.
you know, this message.
Yeah.
So-
No, I love it. I love it. You in your most natural state, and that'd be my favorite ones
Yeah.
too. I was just looking at the one that you posted this morning, which I want us to get into that one because you was spitting. Okay, you was talking that real talk. We're gonna get into that. I'm like, maybe we should get into it now. Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I wanted to just, I guess, can we like talk about that a little bit? Like, so your post today, if I'm remembering correctly, was about, you basically were saying you disrespect yourself every time that you stay in an environment or keep doing something that you don't really want to do, whether it be work, whether it be you have an unhealthy habit and you keep on finding yourself in that realm, in that pattern. So you showing up for yourself and respecting yourself basically is you stepping away from it and just altering that pattern and doing something different. And so, yeah, I mean, can you expound? I feel like that was it, but I don't know if you want to expound on it a
No,
bit
for
more.
sure.
Like where that came from for you.
Yeah, it came from me, you know. So, each of us, especially when you start, so I'm 34. I'm very proud of that. You know, I'm happy to be aging because, you know, the opposite of that is death. So we're going to keep getting old and fine.
And you still look 21,
do what
okay?
we do, period. Okay? But so the older you get, right, I feel like your body speaks to you. And you kind of know what works and what doesn't. And your mind speaks to you and you know what works and what doesn't. You're more aware of the things that have a negative effect on you, the things that prick your self-esteem, you know, you're more aware. And I think that message came to me because this is going to be funny, but I wasn't drinking tea. I'm a green tea drinker.
Okay.
Green tea helps me. It just helps me. It gives me
Yeah.
energy. And I wasn't drinking my teas. talking to one of my best friends, Lisette. We both are big tea drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, had a day where I started drinking my tea. And I was like, yo, why do I stop? Like, if I know that I feel better when I drink my tea, at least 2 cups a day,
Yeah.
why do I go weeks without drinking green tea?
Right.
Like, what's the problem? You know, like, and I just realized we do, and that's a small thing.
Yeah.
But we do so many things that don't respect that don't show respect to who we are and what we need to be our best. And what I was talking about in the post was, jobs, which is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Not granted, I'm childless, all I really do is pay bills and buy sneakers. So I have a little bit more freedom
Yeah.
to quit a job or whatever, but a lot of us stay in situations that we hate.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting up and going to work every day and you hate it, you're taking your lunch break, you're in the parking lot like, oh, you hate it,
Yeah.
you gotta get out of there.
Right.
You may not be able to do it tomorrow. You may
Yeah.
not be able to do it next week, but you gotta respect yourself enough to make an exit plan.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you're gonna wake up one day and you're just gonna be stuck in a place that you hate. It's going to affect everything about you. Your self-esteem, your relationships, your ability to be happy. I mean, it affects everything.
Yeah.
And so the reason I say it's a lack of self-respect is because the reason that we treat other people well is because we respect them. I would never do something to you, just consistently do something to you
Yeah.
to make you unhappy because
Right.
I respect you.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't like you, even people we don't like, we show respect to. So it's not even about self-love. What people love to do, you gotta love yourself. Like, you can love yourself all you want and still be in a miserable relationship, miserable situation.
Yeah.
It's about respect. I talked
Yeah.
about the whole, eating things that make you, don't make you feel good. I struggle with my weight. That's no secret. I've been much more vocal and vulnerable about it. And I'm just catching myself in patterns at times. Like, you don't feel good when you do that. You don't feel good when you don't work out. You don't feel good if you don't take a walk. Like, you know what I mean? I live in Georgia, so I'm driving everywhere. It's not like when I lived in New York and I'm walking to the train and
Right.
this and that. So it's like, I got to make sure that a couple times a week I go somewhere and walk. Because I need to do that for my mental health, you know? But when you're not doing these things, it's just a lack of self-respect. And I just want us collectively, because every time I'm talking to y'all on the video, I'm talking to myself too. Let's be very clear.
Talk about
like,
it.
it ain't preachy
Right.
out.
Right.
We starting inward.
Yeah.
Right? I just want us collectively, specifically as Black people, but all people, to really honor ourselves more. Like, no one else is going to honor us. We know that.
Right.
So we have to really honor ourselves. And it's something that I'm actively working on. Like, okay, if you know something is not working for you, don't stay there. You know what I mean? It has a lot to do with who I chose to be with. I'm in an incredible relationship. And
Period. Shout out to Jimmy.
hey babe. But yeah, like, I've chosen very poorly in the past, child. Like, because I wasn't honoring myself and what I actually needed. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I need in a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you don't honor yourself, when you don't respect yourself, you're going to keep going after bozo number 1, 2, and 3 because you think you want this look or this thing or whatever the case may be. And when I did the self-work, before I even met my boyfriend, it allowed me to see him very clearly.
Yeah.
I always tell people within 5 minutes of our first date, I was like, you supposed to be in my life. I don't know how. I don't know if you're supposed to be my man, my business partner, or something, but you are supposed to be in my life.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, I couldn't have seen that. I promise you I couldn't have seen it. Because I didn't respect my needs.
Right.
Sometimes we respect what we think things should be more than what we actually need, right? And it's like, when you take a pause and really think to yourself, okay, what makes my soul happy? What makes my spirit happy? What makes me feel calm? That's a big one.
Love
What
that.
makes me feel at peace?
Love that one.
You will choose your friends, your work,
Listen.
your spouse, how you spend your time. You will choose all of that much differently when you ask yourself certain questions and respect your needs.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a beautiful space to be in, but it takes it's it's not a one-shot deal.
Right.
You have to go back, ask yourself questions, you know, and I think that's where I'm at, you know, but you can have it in one area of your life and not have it in another, right? I have it in some areas, and then in other areas, I'm like, now, girl,
Listen.
can you please put the Popeyes down? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's a battle, you know, and I think me making videos and having my mentors and people that I talk to and getting back into therapy and all that is helpful.
Yeah.
You know, so y'all pray for me, child, because like I said, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too. So.
Absolutely. I love that. Ooh. It was so much. Ooh. Lish was preaching just now. I'm like, there's nothing more to add to that, really. We could go to the next question. But
you know I'm chatty, child, so if you need to stop me.
No. No, everything you shared, I love that. Like, I think there were so many parts where I was like, yes. Like, yes. And so I appreciate you for sharing that. And I mean, you kind of touched on it just now in what you shared, but I guess how important is it to be mentally stable when you're trying to find inspiration? Like, I know you saying even like pray for you because, you know, you're speaking to yourself. And I think that's usually, I just was thinking about that term, like, not wounded healer, but something along that line where like a lot of people who are in the healing space, they've gone through things and they've, whether they're, you know, still going through it or they've overcame it and now they're able to, you know, just share a good word or a good message with other people. Like, yeah, for you, like, how important do you feel like it is for you to be just mentally stable? Like, when you aren't in a good space, do you feel like you're not able to still give that?
Yeah. I think it's twofold, right? There are times when I'm not in a good space, so I'm not going to fake the funk, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just going to get on the internet and just say something just so I can have something to post. But I think there are times when I'm able to share from that space.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I remember when I was learning how to, you know, preach and speak and do all this stuff when I was younger in ministry. I remember someone saying, you can preach, you don't have to always preach from a place of victory. That changed me. I don't even remember who said it, but that changed me.
Ooh.
Because it's like, I'm up here speaking to y'all and I'm not preaching from a place of victory.
Yeah.
I actually think a lot of people miss that. A lot of preachers put themselves in a box and they only get up and talk about the same 4 parables for 20 years of leading the church. God help us. You know, or the same 6 stories.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to talk about the fact that they struggle in this area. And they you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, let me just preach the thing that I can, you know, hammer down on people about. So I look at it like that when I'm making the videos. You know, it's like I don't always have to come from a place of victory.
Right.
I can speak from what I'm actually going through.
Yes.
You know, and so I think mental stability is important because you don't want to be pouring from an empty cup.
Right.
You know, you do have to get the help you need. It's like, you know, all therapists need a therapist, and a strong friend needs a strong friend and all that. And I agree with all that completely. But I do think it's okay to share inspiration with people, even if you are not feeling your best, as long as you're authentic about it.
Yep.
Because let me tell you, sometimes those are the ones that touch people the most. You know, and I know personally when I listen to videos, like I'm a big Tabitha Brown fan. Child, Tab is my auntie, sister, cousin, all of that. And I just love when she shares things from something that she's learning in the moment or something that she just went through. You know, those are the videos that hit me the most. So I try not to hide. I try not to hide until I feel perfect.
Right.
You know, like even my appearance. I do not like being on camera at this size. If I'm just being honest.
You look good.
Thank you, boo. But it's just not something that I love.
Yeah.
You know, like my last several music videos, I was like, oh, I don't want to put out a music video like that. You know, I have these whole like crises in my head.
Yeah.
Then I have to remind myself there's somebody who looks like me who feels like they can't do it because they don't look perfect yet. There's people, and I've been this person, who feel like they can't enjoy life until they lose weight. They can't wear certain things. They can't go certain places. They don't want to see people they went to high school with. They don't want to go. And I just like, I don't want anybody living in that.
Right.
So if I can be an example to someone to say, listen, go out, do the thing, be on camera. Because the thing is, you can lose the weight. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do it. But when you look back after you've done it, can you get back the 6, 7, 5, 4, 2, 3 years you spent not living, you can't
Right.
get that back.
Right.
If the pandemic taught us anything, you know what I mean? So I just try to do things from a place of like, hey, I'm not where I want to be either.
Yeah.
Let's try and get there together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
I
with
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're all a work in progress at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And even therapists, like, yeah, I'm a therapist, but I struggle just the same, like, just
Uh-huh.
like everyone else.
Yeah.
But I'm just the person in the seat that, like, because that's the thing. I feel like there's a misconception sometimes that the person who is, like, able to be that support for others and provide that space for others, like, doesn't go through anything.
Yes.
Which is a misconception.
Yes.
But that's, and I'm like, I don't know where that comes from, but
Oh yeah, because some of it is our fault because we don't let people see us, right?
Yeah.
Something I had to learn too. I had to start letting people see me in weakness. Mm-hmm. Because you'll be the strong friend, the one that always gives advice, the one that always does it, and then when you're going through stuff, you're like, why nobody there for me? They don't even know how to. They don't even know how to receive you in that light,
Right.
Because you never allowed them to. So every time you go through something, it's yeah, but I'm gonna be all right. Or you wait until you done went through everything, then you call them 2 weeks later. Yeah, girl, I was going through it, but I'm all right. No, let people see you in
It's
the
so-
thick of it.
it's true.
So that they know how to show that they're not afraid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that they're not like, this not telling jokes. What's going on? Nah, you need to see me sad.
Yeah.
You need to see me quiet. You need to see me pensive. You know what I mean? Because I'm not just, wisdom and laughs and raps
Right.
and ministry.
Yeah.
I get tight.
Yeah.
I be ready to fight. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
I be sad. I cry a lot. You know what I mean? I overthink. I have anxiety at times. People need to see, if they're going to be in my life, they need to see all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they can't handle all of that, that's fine. I know where to place them.
Right.
But everybody is gonna have 2 or 3 people, needs to have 2 or 3 people who can handle it all. And I'm blessed to have several
Yeah.
who can see all sides of me and be like, you know what? I still love you.
Yep.
You a little crazy. But I still love you.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yep. There's a lot of gem droppery in here. Y'all better make sure y'all follow Lish, okay? Because
yes, follow me.
yeah,
Let's be friends.
yes. Okay, so the next one. Oh well, we kind of touched on that. That was kind of within the same realm of what we were just talking about. But yeah, this one we switching gears a little bit, right?
Okay.
So just as far as content is concerned, right? In this world that's constantly content filled, all different type of new content coming out every day. We got
Every second, bro.
yes, all different platforms now: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. All of these different new things that they're coming out with, right? I did notice, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, that you take breaks, right? You take breaks from posting for a few days. And what is your reasoning behind that? Is it a self-care technique? Is it what's your thought behind that?
Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you. It's not self-care. There are different reasons for it. Sometimes it's laziness. Sometimes it's pure like, I really don't feel like making no video.
Yeah.
Right? And then sometimes it's, I don't like forcing things. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't have something that I feel like is spirit-led to share. Because there are times where I get a thought and a feeling, and I'm like, I should make a video, and I'm like, because you're trying to come at somebody. You want to say this because somebody did something, and you subconsciously want to come at them. And I will stop myself.
Okay.
There's times that I've changed my wording in a video, because I'll make it, and I'm like, if I put this up, this person gonna think I'm talking about them. And low-key I am, so let me not post this. Like, you know what I mean? And it don't even necessarily be stuff they do to me. It could be someone, a friend of my friend did to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, something that someone did to, it could be, I'd like to check myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's part of it. But yeah, I also feel like it's very important. If you want God to use you, you have to abide by his rules. And I feel very passionate about not just talking to talk. And so sometimes I just take a pause for the cause, and I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to absorb, some content.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break from social media altogether. You know what I mean? It's just different reasons for it. But
Absolutely.
I do feel like consistency in this world of like consistency is important to be consistent, and it's something that I'm working on. But I also never want to, I don't want to become a slave to the algorithm. You know?
Listen, that might be
Like,
the title of this episode.
now it's like, oh, 7-second videos. Get the most. Da, da, da. Use this sound behind your video. You know, please, okay? Can I live? Like I don't want to become a slave to the algorithm.
Literally.
You know, I really don't. You know, and so.
I feel the same
And
way.
then you know, I'm careful to. I don't want the high of likes.
Ooh.
You know, because you post something and it gets 8,000 views, and the next thing you post gets 4,000. You start feeling away. Well, did it not? It's like, listen, if 10 people view the video and it helps all 10 of those people, that's God. That's what God wanted it to do.
Right.
Like you know. But I feel like the consistency of it can really get you addicted to all of it. So I still haven't found a safe space.
Yeah.
In that. I probably need to, right? Find a safe space in being consistent, but not letting it consume you.
Yeah.
My safe space is to take a break. You know, and I also feel like I be having so much content. Like, look at the content I already posted.
Right.
Share the content that I like.
part.
Stop playing with me.
Yeah.
Share the content.
Absolutely. I am with you on that.
So-
I will share something over and over again
Yes.
that
I used to not do that. Now I be sharing old stuff. I'm putting it all
Yeah.
back in the story. You ain't see it yet.
That's it.
Your homegirl ain't see it yet.
Yep.
Repost it if it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I gotta find that sweet spot between consistency and and not getting high on your own supply.
Yeah.
But that's really my reasoning. I just don't want to be a slave to the algorithm. I really don't. I want the inspiration to be intentional and genuine. You know what I mean? Like you talked about earlier, people can feel it.
Yes.
I feel like people can feel when you just making videos just to have something
You just
to say.
putting out. You just want to put out.
You know, you just and I don't ever want to really get in that space.
Yep.
You know, so
Absolutely. Intentionality.
yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that might be the title right there of this episode because I overstand. Like I literally, I think I intentionally, like the times when I have taken breaks, it was intentional.
Yeah.
Because I was just like even just this past break, I needed it really because I was on the brink of burnout if I wasn't already burnt out from school, and so I was like, I'm burnt out here in this place. I don't think I should do anything. As far as, because I was very tempted to say, okay, I'm done with school now. Now I have time.
I
Let me
gotta
just
go hard.
Yeah, let me jump back into the, get in the studio, start making, start reaching out to people, get guests, like just, and it's like, I had spoke to one of my friends. Shout out to Mac. He talked to Mac the therapist. Y'all follow him. Yeah, Wolf. Yeah, Wolf. We had an episode with Mac here, and it was dope. But Mac, I called Mac, and I was just telling him like some plans that I had and things that I wanted to do. And he was like, you just graduated. Like, chill. And I was like, okay. Like, I know that. But when he said that, I
Gave you
think...
permission.
Yeah. It was that, like, confirmation. Like, you're fine. Like, there's nothing... Like, you can do those things, but it doesn't have to be right now. Like, what's the... I mean, because I don't know if it was a rush thing, but I think there was a sense of urgency. Like, I was eager. Like, I was excited, which is good. But then I was genuinely still tired mentally.
Yeah.
I still needed to rest. Like, I've been in the gym. I've been, like, making...
I see you.
Yes, I've been trying to just... Because even school, too, I feel like school, I was over there, like, stress eating. I was doing... Like, I just was, like...
Not taking care of yourself.
Not taking care of myself, like... as I normally would.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, you know what? Now that like I'm about to have just a whole different schedule and a little bit more time, like that's not just so like knee deep in like books and school. I want to make like just working out actively again. Yes. And so like I've been trying to just stay consistent with that. And that's helped me like overall just to feel better mentally, just the clarity, the mental clarity.
That's so true because I was telling someone too. So I do spin classes. Like, that's my workout that I love.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, even if I'm not seeing a huge difference, the fact that I know that I'm working on my health makes me feel better. When I'm not working on my health and I'm eating crazy and I just feel terrible about myself. You know what I mean? And it's so important that I'm so grateful that you have a friend, and I have friends like that too, who give you permission to like stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're so hard on ourselves. And social media has made us believe if you don't get it done right now, someone's going to get ahead of you. And someone's going to,
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's enough. That's why I take music breaks. There's enough room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me I need to be inspired. I can't just keep writing songs that I'm not inspired to write.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or keep posting things that I'm not inspired to post.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like taking those breaks are really important and allowing yourself to be poured into.
That's
you know,
it.
Spending time with your friends, spending time with your family.
Yeah, traveling,
You know,
just
traveling.
chilling.
Yes.
And yeah, I haven't been able to do that, so it was just refreshing to be able to, like, these past couple months have been refreshing. And now it's like I'm here, and it was just, as soon as I walked in, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here, like, for real. As opposed to like me, like,
Let me go do this.
and I'm tired. My brain is like divided, thinking about like 5 things. You know, like it's like nah. Like even though it was trafficy outside, that's all I had to think about, the New York traffic. And then I came in and I was like, we here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it is good. And something else to what you were saying too about like just that fear of, I think something that I guess feared, or just like some thoughts that came up was like, I guess in regards to the algorithm is like, okay, I've taken this long break. So like, are people even still tapped in? Are people still engaged?
Yes.
Like, do they even still want to hear,
Yes.
you know, the podcast? And then it's crazy because I recently had a sponsor reach out. Shout out to, y'all gonna hear them real soon. We ain't situated everything yet, but right. But
The
they
paperwork is working.
listen, and they needed some information from me, so I had to go and like kind of just check the analytics, which I don't do that. I'm not really a person that, let me see who's watching. I don't do that. It's just like, it's going. I'm seeing it through social media what the views is looking like. I don't really go in all the time and check the analytics, but I had to go in and look. And even though I haven't put out anything in a few months, it still was going, like, you know, like it didn't stop.
Yeah.
And I think that was encouraging to see, because I was over here thinking like,
People don't care.
we done flatlined over here. We got to start from scratch. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's it's not true. Like literally all of that is like imposter. This is not true. It's imposter syndrome. This is not true. Like but seeing it on paper though,
Yeah.
I think gave me what I needed to be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
Let me
Like,
tell you, God will always provide an encouragement for you when you are doing something He wants you to do.
Yeah.
Right? I'll go long spans without putting out music, and people in my circle be like, "Yo, you need to put out music. What you doing?
yeah.
And the second I put something out, God always takes me places.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like so many different places.
Yes.
You know, and inspires me. And I had a chance maybe a week and a half ago to perform with Arrested Development at
Yes.
City Winery in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And you know, Speech brings me out on stage, and I'm doing my thing, and then they start, you know, performing one of my favorite songs. I get to be on stage with them while they're doing that. I
Yeah.
got to meet so many dope people backstage.
Yes.
And I just realized, like, God is always like, your spot is reserved.
Mm.
Your spot is reserved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Fire.
you're good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're going to be where I want you to be. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know that I need to be the biggest superstar in the world. But I know that my talent is recognized by the people who I want to recognize it. And I know that when God has a message to get through me, he'll make sure that it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we put out that project, Please Use the Exact Change, that I think I talked about on the last podcast with you. And put that project out. And like within a week of that project coming out, so many cool things happen. We get a call from 300 Entertainment. Got to, you know, work with Kevin Lyles and everybody over there and do, you know, a performance with them. And got to open up for a Christian hip hop artist who had at the time a really big following.
Yeah.
And got to just do so many cool things. But when I put that project out, I was thinking, nobody's gonna care. I haven't put out a song in this many years. Like, this is so different from the song I had out at the time. One time, I was like, what I'm putting out right now, like today is so different from that. It's bippity boppity. Like, are people gonna like it? You know, you have all this anxiety, and then when you do it, God is like, you're doing my work.
Right.
But the thing I want us to care about analytics, but I don't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I
agree.
understand why it's important, but I also feel like, and maybe I'm just old school like this.
Yeah.
I feel like Prince said this. My job is to put the music out.
Right.
Once I put the music out, I've done my best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's Prince. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, once you put the music out, once you put the podcast out, once you put the post up,
Yep.
once you know, if you're a style influencer, get your outfit on and walk out the house. Once you do that, that's
Yeah.
all you can do. You're not responsible
Right.
for how people receive it. You're only
Absolutely.
responsible for being obedient to
Yeah.
what you feel like you're called to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're doing that. So I feel like it's only up from
Thank
here. You
you.
know what I mean? And I think it's so dope. I just gotta big you up one time. I think it's so dope that you are doing this pretty much by yourself, and you're able to get the type of guests that you get on the show.
Yeah.
I think it's a testimony to God's favor over your life.
Yes.
I think that it's a testimony to the fact that you have such a genuine desire to really help people in their mental health. And I think the people, because you've got some people on this show who really don't fool with everybody. And they're very open about that. I'm also one of them. I don't fool with everybody either.
Yep.
But you know, it shows that people really respect who you are, what you're doing, what you're about. And I know that God is pleased, you know, and I think sometimes our conditioning can be like, if you're not doing something this way, from this group, then it's not. And I feel like God is showing so many people right now, like, there's no cookie cutter way to do anything.
Yep.
If I put something on your heart to do, and I show you how to do it, you do it that way.
Right.
And when he blesses it, only he can get the glory.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love that for my relationship with God. Because things be happening, and I be like, that's all you
That's
playing?
it. That's it. That's it. Literally.
You know, I can't take no credit. No. Can't nobody in my circle take the credit. Nope. It is you. Yeah. And I love that.
Literally.
I love that.
No, thank you so much for that. And yeah, I remember last episode we talked about how God's favor work. It's sometimes like just overwhelming.
It is.
To even try to like even explaining it and talking about it, it could get you emotional. Like to a place where it's like, I don't even I don't know. But I'm so grateful. I'm always just like, yeah, because it's like now I was telling you too. I'm trying to open things up and like kind of have a team and stuff. But that's a whole process within itself. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Until because I'm not alone. Like God is here. Yes. Like you know. And
that part.
Right. And so like until things pan out, which I'm sure like like if that is supposed to happen down the line, it will. Yeah. God will align it perfectly where I get the right people and everything. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing because I feel like it's worked. It's worked thus far.
And God rewards faith in Him. Obedience to God is just faith. Obedience to God is I believe what you say. Yeah. You know, and so there's nothing. I don't think anything even inspired Jesus more than faith. Like when you look at the miracles that He was able to do in the Bible, things like go in peace, your faith has healed you. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is more inspirational than belief. Yeah. In the fact that something can be better than what it is. Yeah. And I really believe that that's what keeps creative people going. You know, the faith in the fact that if God is telling me to do something or put something on my heart, it can work. Yeah. You know what I mean? I believe that things can work way more than I believe they can't. You know what I mean? That's just my base. Yeah. My base is, oh yeah, we could do that. Oh yeah, God can do that. For sure. You know what I mean? Like nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is too hard for God. Yeah. You know, and so it's so, one of the places that I get my most of my inspiration from is just my relationship with God. And I don't say that to sound like super spiritual. Yeah. But legit. I be thinking about stuff and I'm like, God can do that. Yeah. You know, when people have financial struggles, one of my biggest lines, anyone's ever talked to me about their finances, I say, you know, money is just green paper to God, right? You know that paper over there? If you cut that up in dollar size, that's what that is to God. Yep. He's not tripping because you don't have money. Right. He's not tripping because you don't have access. Yeah. He's not tripping because you don't have resources. God is ready for you to believe. As soon as you start believing He can do things, He's going to start doing them. Yeah. Like, that's a fact. I've seen it happen in my life so many times. So when I pray for something, I pray like it already has happened. Yes. You know what I mean? And so when God tells me to do something and I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that, I just start praying. Yeah. Because why would you tell me to do it if I couldn't do it? Right. Why would you tell me to do it if you wasn't going to provide the resources for me to do it? Yeah. Why would you tell me to do it if it wasn't going to be successful? And success doesn't necessarily mean 1 million followers. Success could mean that person who was going to commit suicide don't do it. Right. Because of what you said. Yeah. Success you might not see your success until heaven. Until you meet somebody who says, yo, your video changed my life. Your podcast changed my life. You know, and so I really am very sure. Yeah. I'm very sure about what I'm supposed to be doing in this life. Some people are not comfortable with that. Luckily, I don't care. You know, we don't care. Some people, you know, can't handle that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Some people, it irks them. Because that's not where they're at yet.
Well, people are annoyed because how are you so sure? How do you know? You know what I mean? Some people get annoyed at confidence because they don't have it. You know, it's
All the time.
I've been in rooms with people who just can't understand why I'm more confident than them. You know, in this body, in this space.
All the
And
time.
I'm like, come get you some, because I will share it with you. I will share it with you. I'm generous.
Right.
I'm not stingy.
Right.
But what I'm not gonna let you do is deflate me.
Ooh.
Ever.
Ooh.
That's never gonna happen.
Never.
I tell people all the time, if you have an issue with me, you will be uncomfortable in the room with me before I will ever be. I will never be uncomfortable around you.
That's it.
Period.
Period.
So, you know what I mean?
I love that.
But it's a God thing. It's really not, it can turn into arrogance. And I have to watch myself. But I have enough people around me to shut me down.
Yeah.
You know my friends. So they have no problem shutting me down. And my family. But it really is a God thing.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a God thing where I am able to know He has sent you to do this.
Yeah.
So when you know that God has sent you to do something, and this is the part I love. You can walk into things confidently, but more importantly, you can walk away from things confidently. Because your confidence is not tied to the thing.
Right.
Your confidence is tied to God.
Right.
So when God says something is not it, it's not it. And you can walk away from it.
Yeah.
Not that it won't hurt you, not that you won't be afraid, but you can walk away. You don't stay stuck. Because you trust God.
Yeah.
You know? And you believe, I believe the favor of God is right here. So if I get up from this couch, it's coming with me.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I'm favored by God because I'm working with Mo right now.
Yeah.
Because I got a call from 300 Entertainment, or because I got,
No.
the favor is here.
Yeah.
It's in me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I feel like God shows that so much that it's undeniable for me.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for who God is in my life, because, and it's funny, people be like, yo, someone asked me one time, you know, do you feel like the spiritual lens or angle on your content will alienate people? You know, and I don't. Because I feel like even if you don't believe in God, you believe in spiritual principles. Even people who don't believe in God at all
Yeah.
believe in spiritual principles. And what I'm talking about is spiritual principles. The spirit, your spirit man, the spirit inside of you.
Yeah.
You know, the principles that they have. Now, I'm going to talk about God because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I would not be genuine if I didn't.
Right.
So you could chew the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't fly, let it fly.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to talk about my relationship with God because it makes me who I am. And so I get so full from it, which I praise and thank my mother who embedded this in me when I was a very young child. You know, because it sustains me.
Yeah.
You know, when life gets hard, when things happen and I don't understand, and trust me, y'all, so many things happen in my life that I'm just like, why am I going through this? Why is my family going through this? Why? But I just know who God is, and I know that He's not looking down saying, oh man, I didn't plan for this. Oh man, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
Nothing catches Him off guard. He has a plan.
Right.
A plan to prosper me and not to harm me. A plan to give me hope and a future. Like, He has a plan.
Yeah.
You know, and so I look at my real dad. When I'm with my father, when I'm with my man, I don't worry. They have a plan. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have to know all the details. I'm not tripping. But they have a plan, and I'm ready to go along with the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I trust them enough to pivot if it needs to pivot. And it's the same way with God. You know what I mean? I know God has a plan for my life. And so even when things are looking a little wonky, I'm like, okay, what we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm able to just go with the flow. So I don't know how we got there, but
No.
God is good and faithful.
That's it. Absolutely. All of that was good. Wolf, you hear this? Yeah. I'm like, we can end it right here. But we not. We're going to keep going because this is good. Okay, so we were talking about, you touched on where you get your inspiration from, which is, of course, God. But are there any people or things that you get inspiration from as well?
Yeah. Yes, plenty. Like I said, Tabitha Brown, big
Yes.
one. I love seeing people succeed later in life because our society would love to make us believe if you don't have everything together by the time you're 25, and if you're not
Crazy.
a millionaire by 30, and if you're not married, and if you don't have kids and a house, and that you're just doomed to failure.
Yeah.
When the most successful people in the world become successful later on, become millionaires later on. The average millionaire becomes a millionaire in their 60s.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yes. You know?
Wow.
And so we are here thinking, oh, I didn't get it by 30.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me. You know, so that's why I love a story like Tabitha Brown. Someone with kids and a husband and, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm really also inspired by people who don't settle. Right? So I think about, and I'm not like the hugest, you know, DJ Khaled fan, right? But what I love about DJ Khaled is that he didn't settle. He was already very famous and very well off financially when he started the whole "We the best," you know, all the videos, and I forgot his old tagline, whatever he used to be saying.
So he has a couple.
But like on TikTok and doing all that, you know, another one, like, you know, doing all that extra stuff, right? But he didn't settle, and he became one of the biggest stars. You know what I mean? Like Oprah, when she finished her show of 20-something years, started OWN, and has had some of the most successful television, you know, and interviews and things after that.
Yeah.
She could have easily been like, let me enjoy my money, my mansion, my man, and it's been real. But it's in you.
Yeah.
That hustle is in you. The desire to inspire and create is in you.
Right.
So I get really inspired by people like that. And then I also get inspired by everyday people like my mother.
Yeah.
You know, my mother is brilliant. So smart.
Yeah.
And such a hard worker.
Yeah.
You know, it's my life's dream to like just, so she don't have to work, you know, get to a place financially where my mother is good, you know.
Me too, yeah.
But I'm really inspired by her because I feel like no matter what life throws at my mom, she fights.
For sure.
She fights to be happy, you know, and it gives me no excuse. Because when I feel like being down and I'm like, you know what? She's pushing, I can push.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm really inspired by, you know, people who have millions. I'm inspired by everyday people. I think more than anything, my inspiration probably comes from a desire to see the next thing. I'm very curious. So it's like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
You know, if I post this video, if I do this thing, what might happen next?
Right.
So I get inspired by that too.
Got you.
And people like you. You know,
thank you.
Being consistent, doing your thing.
Yeah.
Inspirational.
Yeah, you inspire me too. I tell you that all the time though. I feel like you've been inspirational since I was 14. Like literally, Lish was like, I'm like, that's my mentor. Whether she know it or not, she's my mentor.
You told me.
I look up to her, right? And Lish was just like, okay, yeah.
I be. That's why I say, come on in to the fold.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
So.
And you know what? A question that I had, which was, it was kind of back to the last point. I think that's what I was thinking about, which is how important do you feel like it is for people to believe in themselves? Because I know, like, we were talking about the belief in God. I feel like we have that in common, where the belief in God is like very strong. I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for God.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's some people who maybe just may feel differently, and they like, I mean, it's kind of trendy now. I do like it, like the manifestation thing, where whatever you put out, like, you know, you got to put things in, like, you got to manifest things. I think that's I like that mantra. But I feel like that's tied to like belief in self and just really just, you know, allowing, you know, that belief in yourself can get you places. So how important do you feel like that is, in just being successful in whatever avenue you're in?
That's a great question. I think it's extremely important. In fact, it's difficult to believe in anything if you don't believe in yourself, in God.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was more important than believing in God, but it's up there. Because no matter how much people rock with you, it's going to be the belief you have in yourself that's going to allow you to take those risks and bet on yourself. You know, my family loves me. They support me and all that. But ain't nobody paying for the music videos and the video time.
Right. Yeah.
They just not.
They're
like,
not.
You know, like,
Sure.
you know, and so if I don't believe in myself,
Yeah.
I won't get it done. You know, and so I think believing in yourself is extremely important. And I think also Jay-Z says this, there's a knowing in artistry.
Yeah.
You have to know. Because think about it. If you don't know, like, man, this is a great episode.
Yeah.
You'll get it edited. You'll watch it. You might show it to a friend. But if you feeling like, I just don't know. I don't know how it's going to go over. I don't know. You're never going to put it out. Same thing with music. People go to the studio. They make all this music. I'm guilty of this.
Yeah.
And then you spend all this time. I don't know. You know. But then when you know,
Yeah.
there's certain songs I know.
Yeah.
While I'm still writing it, I
Yeah.
know. this is gonna go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I wrote one time, I knew. I said this song's gonna go. I don't know where it's gonna be, but it's gonna go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it went.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think there has to be a knowing. And I also think it's easy to believe in yourself when you're doing what you're supposed to do. If I was over here trying to be, I don't even know, because I only do stuff that feels natural to me. But trying to be something that I'm not, you're going to feel that. But I never feel imposter syndrome about my music. I'm a musician.
That part.
I don't feel imposter syndrome about making videos and inspiring people or preaching or teaching or working with the youth. None of that. You know what I mean? And so I think when you're really walking in what's real to you, it's easier to believe in yourself. Now, when you have moments of anxiety or worry or, whatever, yeah.
Of course.
But the overwhelming feeling should be one of joy.
Yeah.
And so, I think believing in yourself is super important. You have to be your own biggest fan.
Absolutely.
You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. Because there are going to be times where it's just you in that mirror. And you have to be, as Cat Williams said, and start in tune with your star player. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be in tune with your star player.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And it's weird because it's like, I feel like I didn't realize, like, I feel like sometimes growing in confidence, like, I feel like I've grown in my confidence a lot over the years. And maybe that just comes with, like, getting older and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just, start to come into
How
my
old are you?
own. I'm 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to really slap you at 30.
I'm like, that's
You
what
ain't going to care what nobody thinks at 30. Let me tell you, 30 is beautiful.
That's what people say. Like, all of my friends are basically 30 and up.
Yeah.
So I'll be like,
30
they be
like,
telling me that. And I'm like, really? Because I kind of don't be caring now. So I'm like,
you
by
really
30?
You think you don't care.
Right.
You still care.
I still care.
But at 30.
I still care a little bit.
At 30, you're not going to care at all. Trust me. You know why? Because you start seeing other people for who they really are. People you looked up to, you like, you ain't really like that.
Right.
You ain't really like you act like you are. So why should I feel like I got to impress you?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like 30, I found my freedom at 30.
Yeah.
Woo, it's sweet. It's so sweet. I realized how many decisions I was making because I was trying to make other people proud.
Yeah.
I had a tweet about that. When you realize that you were not put on this earth to make anybody else proud or happy, you start living in your freedom. We do so many things to like make somebody else proud, make somebody else happy.
Yeah.
And it affects our confidence. So the fact that you're growing in your confidence is beautiful. It only gets better.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it is a good feeling. And I feel like, I think you mentioned earlier, sometimes people could like misread confidence for arrogance, which I don't feel like I'm at that place, but I feel like, like, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, like you said, like you're in a room and you could just feel like somebody's energy, they probably irked by just being you. Like, and I think like for me, it's definitely taken time for me to get to this place where I believe in myself, but it's not solely just me believing in myself, just to believe in myself, because I just know who my source is. Like, I know that he got me. And then it's also because I feel like also the proof is in the pudding. I feel like I work hard. I work hard. I really put in work.
I really like that.
I really put work.
I really like that. Yeah.
I really put work in.
Yeah, talk that talk, Mo.
I really put work in. So like, I be confused sometimes as to like, why wouldn't you want me to be confident when I've worked hard to get to this place? But I realize that, some people may not, that's where you got to discern and see like, okay, it's not even really about me.
No, it's never about you.
Never.
Nothing that anyone does, well, let me not say nothing.
Yeah.
I'll say 99% of the things people do to you are not about you.
Right.
And think about the stuff you do to people when you're having a bad day, when you're off, when you're not at your best.
Yeah.
It's not about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a you thing.
Absolutely.
And so that helps me not to take things personally as well, because I know that most of what people say and do is on them, what they're feeling. And that's when people do great things and are kind and extend grace.
Yeah.
And that's when they're not able to as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a gracious person is so freeing.
Yeah. It takes the extra burden off.
Yeah. Who has time to be mad at people?
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
Not important.
Yeah.
Wolf.
Wolf is like, I overstand that. Yeah. No, but just to switch gears a little bit, because I did want us to have some time just to kind of talk about music a little bit.
Okay.
Because yes, you touched on just having the opportunity to perform with and be on stage with Arrested Development.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about, first of all, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's one.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And secondly, I just wanted to kind of just talk about, like, how did that even come about? Like, how was that?
Yeah. So Arrested Development, for those of you who don't know, 2-time Grammy Award winning group. Songs like Tennessee and, Mr. Window and Make Me,
Yeah.
they just are legends to me.
Yeah.
And Speech is like a big brother to me, like a mentor in the music space.
Yeah.
Just a humble guy. Another mentor of mine, big bro, Shamir. Shout out to Shamir, also known as Chase Ennis, in the music world. Connected us a couple years ago, and I actually had opened for them for a few shows.
Yeah.
And so whenever Speech is performing in Atlanta, he'll usually reach out to me. And so that's how that happened. But it's always nice to be recognized for my lyricism, because I could really rap. I'm really like that.
Lish is really like that.
So,
yes.
So,
in case you.
Right, I could really rap.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be recognized for my lyricism.
Right.
And for Speech to say, yo, you gotta come up here. I gotta, the people have to hear. Y'all was able to perform my song Black Don't Crack.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love affirming Black people. Every second of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my real life's purpose now. But yeah, I really do. I really did appreciate the opportunity, and I think anytime I get to be around seasoned performers, like they've been in the game 30 years and still get sold out shows all across the U.S. and Europe.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
Right.
Like at all. There's artists on the charts right now that can't sell out a show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I respect them so much. I have so much respect for Speech and Arrested Development and groups like them. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the younger generation may not know or care or whatever, but they found a way to lock in with the core group of fans
Yeah.
that have spent money and will spend money on them for 30 years.
Right.
I want to be around that. I want to learn that. I would have been at City Winery whether or not Speech asked me to be on that stage, because I want to be around the energy. What is that?
Yeah.
What is it that you can make a song in the 90s that causes people to get up on their feet and sing it with all their heart in 2022? What is that?
Yeah.
That's special. That's calling.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so I think music has healing properties, and I think they're one of the groups who have been able to tap into that. So I'm always honored to be around them. But yeah, that's how that came about.
Absolutely. I love that. And I was so happy to see that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess before we getting close to the end, which I'm sad, I'm like, I want to keep going. But so yeah, I just wanted we have a final segment, which is the affirmation segment. I always like, every guest that comes on, you a special guest, but about to be family in a second, because we're gonna have you back. I feel like I want to just keep having you on, because you always just leave so much wisdom and knowledge when you come. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted the affirmation segment, basically, what is an affirmation, a quote, a scripture, something that you live by that like has helped you, whether in dark times, it's lifted you up, it's encouraged you. What's like your go-to affirmation?
I have so many.
Yeah. Leave us with like one or two.
I would probably say Romans 8:28. For we know that in all things God works together for the good of those who love him. That scripture holds me down, because I really do believe in all things God is working for my good. And if God is working for my good, then I'm good.
Yeah.
And so that's really an anchor scripture for me. And then another one that I kind of live by is a quote. I don't remember who said this, but it basically, to sum it up, it says, you own all that has happened to you. And if someone wanted to be written about warmly, they should have behaved better. I live by that because it frees me to tell my truth. So many times we don't write things, we don't write songs about things, we don't tweet about things, we don't make videos about things because we don't want to offend somebody, or we don't want to seem like we're being shady, or we don't want to. And I have to free myself from that.
Right.
I try to be respectful. I'm not going to put people's names out there and do this and that. But if something happened to me,
Yeah.
I have the right to speak about it.
Yeah.
Write about it, make a video about it, tweet about it. I have the right. I own my experiences.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to be remembered warmly, they should behave better. And so, most of the people in my life are great. You know what I mean? So I don't have those types of experiences often, but I think about that quote a lot because it frees me to tell the full stories, good, bad, ugly.
Yeah.
And so for a person like me who grew up very concerned about perception, I need that freedom. I
love
need
that.
freedom. So, yeah, I've never shared that before.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And please let everybody know where they could find you.
Yes.
Anything upcoming that you got going on?
So, honestly, right now I'm working on some music. So music is not taking a back seat,
Yes.
to my inspirational, situation. But I definitely do feel like the Lish Speaks brand is expanding to more speaking. So speaking engagements, you're going to find me on a couple of panels. I'm doing more podcasts, doing more public speaking, and of course doing more videos, TikToks and Reels, just giving life advice from my experiences. So you can follow me on all social media at Lish Speaks, LISHSPEAKS. You go to my website, lishspeaks.com. But yeah, follow me on socials. Let's be friends. I want to be inspired by y'all too. And I hope that my time with Mo and the content that I put out is something that people just continuously feel inspired by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Liz.
Period. Your mental matters. Your mental matters podcast.
Yes. Yep.
Y'all need to definitely tune in. Follow Mo. And all that good stuff.
Yeah, guys, subscribe, like, all the things, share. And yeah, we'll be back again with another episode real soon. We're out.
Peace.